Hi little cherubs, welcome. Let's talk about where I live. Let's dox myself today. Okay. So, first of all, and first most, and first of the first, the very first thing that I wanted to say, that is the first thing, is that this video is sponsored. So thank you so much, Petlibro. We'll get into them a little bit later. Second of all, in the last 4 years, I have lived in 7 places. That's a lot and unnecessary, but it was very necessary actually, and it'll make a lot of sense. Anyway, I talk about where I live all the time because it's where I film. You guys get attached to the places that I live just as much as I get attached to maybe you guys aren't attached to the places that I live at all, whatever. Today I want to show you all of the places that I've lived in and what I have to say about them. Consider this like a little Zillow review video, and maybe, just maybe, if you're planning on going to Temple University or you go there or you live in Philadelphia, there's a slight chance that you might live in one of these places, like very small, and probably a big chance that some of you have actually lived in one of these places. Now that she's done. Anyway, the real reason I'm making this video is just an excuse to talk shit about some of the places that I've lived in the past and talk a little bit of shit on Temple University, but that's besides the point. I don't think they consider me an alumni with the amount of shit that I talk on them, but anyway. Something was missing from all the places that I've ever lived in, and that was a Petlibro automatic pet feeder. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring today's video. Let's roll it. Thank you so much, Petlibro, for sponsoring today's video. If you don't know what Petlibro is, it's a Wi-Fi pet feeder, so little Miss Clem can get some food even when I'm not home. It's a convenient app controlled through Wi-Fi. As you guys can see from the footage, it literally takes a press of a button. I also love my cat, so that's why she only deserves the freshest of food. Has top-notch freshness, that's why it has a stainless steel bowl, a rotary seal lid, and a rotor seal outlet. It also has an angled display panel, 45-degree LED interface, and you can also customize it to be up to 6 meals per day and up to 50 portions per meal. So ultimately, it's really perfect for whoever your pet is and what they need. I'm really happy that I have one now, and so is Clem. I think she's eating out of it right now. Look at her go. She is not a paid actress. Anyway, I'm really happy that we have one, and you can also get one too. Click the link in my description and use code XNicole, and you can get 15% off your order from the Petlibro website. Thank you, Petlibro. Thank you so much. Without sponsors, I would not be able to live anywhere. So thank you very much. Anyway, let's talk about where the heck I've lived. First of all, let's talk shit about the first place that I've ever lived in college, which was Morgan Hall North. This is an iconic dorm. Like, if you see this dorm online, you're like, oh my God, this is like a hotel. It is so tall in North Philly that it practically makes up part of the skyline. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I need to live there. But like, actually, I kind of needed to live there because I needed access to a kitchen because I have a lot of food sensitivities and issues and blah, 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 blah. I had food restrictions. And so I needed a kitchen. And this is the only place that I saw online that I could have access to a kitchen while simultaneously living in a dorm. If you want to know how extra I am, I picked the 11th floor just because I like the number 11. There was no other reason. There's like 24 floors in this building, 24, 26, I don't know. It's very, very tall, large and in charge. And I chose the 11th floor because I was like, yeah, cute, 11. I'm very happy I made that decision because first of all, I live right next to the RA. You might be thinking, Nicole, why would you ever want to live right next to the RA? If I never lived next to the RA, then I would have never became an RA, and then I maybe would have never started my own YouTube channel. So thank you. I just ran into my RA the other day and I was like, this is very full circle because I just moved back to the city. Regardless of how cute it looked and how pretty it was me and 3 other girls, and I happened to room with my best friend. I love her dearly. Love you, Kaylee. You guys have probably seen her in my videos. However, that bitch never went home. She did not go home ever. I never had the place to myself. If you're watching this right now, which you're not, she doesn't watch my YouTube videos. She has enough of me in real life. She never went home. I never had an ounce of privacy. Ask me how many times I was alone in my room. The answer is never. Another thing was that our neighbors were racist. Actually, a lot of the building was racist. There were so many things being reported of racist things happening in that building. And of course, it's like the bougiest building on campus, which is very nice that me working at Chipotle paid for it because they used to do tuition reimbursement. So they paid for my dorm, but the community, Temple do better. I also had another roommate who But I've already talked about that on my channel. But I did meet a lot of D1 athletes, so that was cool. For my first place that I've ever lived in outside of home, it was beautiful. It was a great place. The community in there, not so good. Truly not worth it for the money. If I had to put this in a category, I would put it in the I repress my memories here category. I don't remember much from that year. I just have like very core memories, like the time that my roommate. Next, the Edge. If you have gone to Temple University, you know that this is the most cursed apartment building on campus. That's the best way to describe it, is that it's cursed. And low-key, I loved it. It was my first year being an RA, so I lived completely alone. I just had a bedroom to myself. There was a door that connected from my neighbor's apartment into my apartment, and neither of us could like open it or anything, but my neighbors could hear me pee, like very, very clearly. There were concrete ceilings and walls. It could get very jail celly in there. However, I had brand new carpets in my apartment. I remember I was so excited about that because I have a weird thing about feet. Not in the sense that I like them, in the sense that I hate them. I'm very, very much so afraid of others' feet. And the thought of bare toes walking on the carpet in my apartment scared the living shit out of me. So I bet you that someone definitely pissed on the floor in that apartment. That's why the carpeting got ripped up. Someone pulled a cow in there. So I got all new flooring. So that was very exciting to me. There's mice, there were fires, and I had a 26-year-old man who was my resident because he was from the military, so he was a freshman. So he lived on my floor. So it was very difficult for me as like a little 19-year-old telling him what he could or could not do and how he really could not bring in alcohol. I fear that man a lot, but that's my own issues, you know? Overall, I miss her. And there were good vibes in there. That's where I started my YouTube channel, actually. So if you go to like my earlier videos, then you'll see that room there. What category would I give her? I wouldn't, well, would I go back? If I had to relive that year of my life, like I would relive it. Like that was a very fun year for me. However, also no one should step foot in there. Like I don't think, listen, if you're planning on going to Temple University and you're thinking about living in the Edge, don't. Like, I'm surprised they haven't demolished it yet. I like to drive past it like once a week just to make sure that they didn't yet, because it probably should be. Sometimes it smelled like gas in the building too. Not like tootie gas, like not like fart gas. Like I can get used to that. Like gas. I'm gonna put it in two categories. I'm gonna put in Take Me Back, because something's wrong with me, and also no one should step foot in there. Good memories and good times, but also I'm known to romanticize the past. So the next place I lived was The Nest, which is also on Temple's campus, except it's like way down Broad Street. It's this big ass building that they built, and it was like brand new, and they told us that we were gonna be RAs there, except RAs had to live with other RAs. And it was the most beautiful place that I had lived in at the time. Like it was ginormously massive, and I could not believe that I had the ability to live somewhere like that. It felt very good that no one's little crusty toes had walked on the carpeting in there, so that was a good feeling. However, like within the first couple weeks of me living there, the front window did get shot at and the glass did break. I was the RA on duty at the time, because who else, you know? And I still think to this day it hasn't been fixed. And that was about 3 years ago. So yeah, I occasionally also drive by that building just to see if they had fixed the glass, and they haven't. Regardless of how something may glimmer and shine, it can also have some ugly parts to it. Like, for example, your roommate might keep meat in the pantry, you know? Not in the fridge, not in the freezer, the pantry. Or they might be hiding knives in their room. So lots of counter space, but also lots of bad vibes. I have repressed my memories here, and I should never step foot back into that building. However, if you have the money and you want to live there, or you're an RA, like I was and had the place for free, I should take it, because she's very nice. And I don't know the quality of those floors now. Like, someone definitely probably pissed in the carpet at this point, because it's been up for like 3 years now. But given the opportunity, yeah, live in the Nest, why not? Mid-year, I did end up quitting. There's only so much, you know, meat in the pantry that I can take. I decided to sublet from some mutual friends who were going to Temple Rome, the Rome campus. You'll see soon how this was very tragic. I needed a place to live, and I needed it very, very quickly. Rent was super cheap. I was gonna live with 2 amazing friends. It was the best time ever. It was my first time that I actually felt like a college student. It was so homey because it was like a house. Peace and quiet, no RA life. Because I was subletting, it was all someone else's stuff, someone else's decor, someone else's belongings, someone else's furniture, like everything. But did I feel at home? Yes, very quickly. At this place, I truly felt like an actual college student and had fun like a college student should have. And I was so at peace. And then one night I had a nightmare that the people who I was subletting from, who ended up going to Temple Rome, that they had to come home all of a sudden and they kicked me out of the place and I had nowhere to live. Just for me to wake up and hear that Temple Rome was in fact getting sent back to America because of COVID starting. And that's the time that I moved out of my apartment with like a 24-hour notice. Not because of Temple Rome or anything, but because my mom was like, Nicole, it is going to get very bad. And it did get very bad. And then I moved home. So I lived at this apartment for less than 2 months. But it was some of the best 2 months I ever had. I missed that place dearly. That was like on 17th Street in North Philly. I gotta tell you, I'm not good with addresses. I live near a dog park. I used to like stalk some of the dogs there and like secretly take photos of like the same dogs every single day with their owners and then like send it to my boyfriend and be like, oh my God, look how cute this dog is. So like I have a bunch of pictures of like random people and their dogs on my phone if you want them and you think that you may have been in any of them. It's a good dog park, good time. Honestly, I would say take me back. If I was in college, I would go back there. Like I would do that all over again. Now that I'm out, I don't really want to live on a college campus anymore. Actually really don't want to do that. That's why I didn't move to Fishtown. And then I moved back home to my parents' home. This was actually the first time that I ever enjoyed living home in my entire life. Living at home when I was like growing up, I was like a bratty little teenager. Of course I didn't enjoy it. I had a small room. I had 2 roommates, my parents. While living at home, my cat did die. So it's like -3 points there. I also had no sense of freedom, regardless of how old I was. Yeah, no freedom at all. There's also no sunlight past like 7:42 a.m. So that was tough. But you know what? I grew and I evolved as a person a lot in that room. Like for example, I used to move around my room like whenever something bad would happen to me. I would be like, oh my God, I'm so quirky. I just move it around. Turns out it was OCD, crazy, I know. But anyway, the vibes turned from pretty bad to pretty good, which is why I moved out. I wanted to move out on a good note, not a bad note. Also, I had cute ass decor and I ended up on Pinterest. I don't know how that happened. Honestly, I would recommend this place to live in. If any of you have the opportunity to live in my home with my parents, I say take the opportunity. Would I personally live there again? No, not right now. If something were to happen that I like have to move back home with my parents, yeah, sure, I'd move back. Like not like very willingly, but I would. It was fun while it lasted. Anyway, if ever given the opportunity, I say I recommend. So just, you know. There was a brief period of time in August of 2020 where I was supposed to move into a different apartment on college campus for my senior year of college with 2 friends. That's how these videos came about. The vibes were very off. It was fun because I imagined living with my friends and everything. I did end up moving out within a few days of me moving in because I had to take care of my mom who was going through chemo and I had to find someone to sublet the apartment, it worked out great. But honestly, I'm happy that I left because I didn't really feel like having a 42-year-old man as a part-time roommate. I'm looking for the quote that Fez said to Lexi about her play. Okay, sometimes people need to get their feelings hurt. And there was carpeting in the apartment. Yeah, I repressed my memories here. But now, February of 2022, what the fuck? That's a real date. I live in a new apartment now, where I'm living currently, which is crazy. I'm not gonna rate it. Obviously, it's the best place that I've ever lived in, ever. And my favorite by far. And I know a lot of you guys have been excited to see a tour of this place, so that's why this Thursday, my next video, is going to finally be my new Philadelphia apartment tour. And big things coming, guys. Big things coming. So, you wanna watch it. Don't miss it. Don't miss my new tour. This Thursday. My next video. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I had fun, like, giving you guys a little timeline of where I lived, because who doesn't love doxing themselves, you know? Please make sure that you leave this video a like, because it helps me out so much. Also, leave a comment. What place that I lived in have you been around since? Did that sentence didn't make sense? Since when have you been watching me? Like, where did I live? I'm just curious. So leave it in the comments. Make sure that you subscribe if you want to be nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. If you want to follow me on my other social media, Instagram, Twitter, Depop, Spotify, it's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty, because I'm posting a lot on there. Thank you so much, Petlibro, for sponsoring today's video. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I'm gonna go drive by some of my old dorms to see if they're demolished yet, because if not, they should be. Thank you, goodbye.